Okay, good stuff. So welcome. Looking forward to diving into this. I'm going to share my screen in a moment, but do you want to just frame it up for me a couple of things? And you've obviously sent me this video, you sent me a couple of notes. I always think it's quite good just to verbalize it back to me as a starting point.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess uh, maybe just a bit of introduction. I've been playing squash just on the social level,
Mhm.
I guess, for about close to 10 years now. I've started quite late, but when I first started, I started in New Zealand, just playing kind of like a business house concept, uh, just socially, and then got really into it. And then I went back to Malaysia for kind of like the summer break,
Okay.
and get coaching, just like a 3-month coaching, and came back. And then New Zealand is quite good because they've got this really nice system. It's called ice squash, where you
Okay.
can kind of like play tournaments all over the country,
Cool.
but people in kind of same division kind of thing.
Very nice.
Um, yeah, I was in the UK as well last year, and I played quite a bit as well.
Nice. What part of the
So I
UK?
was used to. I was in Cambridge.
Okay. Very nice. Yes.
In the Cambridge, yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, you probably know like Ali Low.
Yeah. Was
That,
is James
yes,
Cowley is in that area? Was he
yeah,
doing?
that's right. Yep, yep, yep. He's the coach for the university, and I was based in that club as well. Yep.
Fantastic. Cool.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Great
yep,
guy. Nice. Amazing. Good, good. So, in regard to some of the details, and that gives me a nice bit of context because it probably
yep,
I've three main things and one small thing to kind of talk to you about that I saw from the video. But
yep,
tell me where you think some of your obstacles are, your roadblocks, maybe what you'd like to get out of the session. Like, well, what are your goals
yep,
for this?
yeah. Because I feel like I don't know, like because I feel like I've kind of like reached a level that I find that it's probably my level
Okay.
because
Good part of that.
I see because I've got that squash level thing, and I feel like, oh, I always win against someone that has a squash level ratings below than me, but I don't seem to kind of like beat any players that is like above me consistently. I would say like one or two matches that I will win occasionally, and
Okay.
it's always that because they've got a really hard match the night before, and so it felt like it's been stagnant for like a year now, and I like to like fine tune my game a lot. I feel like a lot of people will ask like, oh, play your game in a match.
Okay.
Yeah. But whereas I feel like I'm kind of like the person that likes to tune myself like against different players.
Okay.
Um and so I don't really know like what kind of game that I like to play. So I just feel like if it's someone that I know that will hit really hard, I'll try to like switch it that I could play a bit slower. And
Okay.
sometimes it could be an advantage and disadvantage as well. Like I don't know how to.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like always like finding whys and
Yeah. I'm just as a quick,
and
so I again, I'm
yeah,
not you've seen, but you can grab
yeah,
a copy. Like there's this playbook here that I've written, which is all
yeah.
different strategy. I don't know if you come across that. Have you seen the different strategies?
Well, I've got a copy actually.
Oh,
Yep, yeah, I've got
amazing.
a copy of that as well. Yeah,
And yeah, you obviously
so
in there, there's a few little tips of like, hey, if you're playing someone who's
yeah,
hitting hard, it's not just about going purely soft. It's about doing part of
yeah,
their game, part of like, and these little adaptations. So again, that's a little guide, but yeah, I've got maybe, well, there's one small thing. And actually it's the third point I'm going to talk about, which is kind of the mindset and the self-belief and being a little bit clearer with your
yeah,
identity on the squash court. So I do a whole bit of teaching on this, but I'll give you the headlines where it's identity visualization. It's actually quite a cool concept where you actually start doing very small little doses of visualization based on your identity. We'll get into that in a sec, I think, because I want to ask you what that is, and I've got a few prompts to do that. Um,
yeah,
okay, so are you happy with me kind of diving in and talking about some of the things
yeah,
that I've seen? I'm going to use
yeah,
your video. I'm going to compare a couple of pro videos. The
yeah,
three main takeaway points that I'm going to keep circling back to is this. Number one, I think you're a tiny little bit late with your racket activation and you don't build enough threat and options when you move into the shot. And you'll see the comparison with I've got Paul Cole and Asal, and then with yours, you get there, it's all relatively neutral, and then there's some movement of the racket, and it's just
yeah,
the threat and the options aren't quite there. And threat and options come from the early engagements of the wrist, showing that you can play multiple shots. That's quite threatening. And then obviously the options is you have more options in it. So that's number one.
Yeah.
And I'll kind of show you the video in a second. Number two, definitely want to simplify your shot selection. I'm not seeing you lock down the channels early enough. I'm seeing a little bit of reactive squash rather than proactive, right? This is happening. This is the story of the rally. This is how the game is going to go. And you're going to have to get on board with me. So I'll point out that those shot selection things. Three, third thing that I'll kind of loop back to is part of the mindset. I obviously do a lot of mindset coaching now and really work with a lot of players in regard to their mindset, self-belief, and running your own race and building your identity. This is something that I want to talk about and touch on. Those are the three main things. And then the fourth small thing, which again, relatively small, it might be linked to other parts of the game, but when you're serving on your backhand, it's incredibly close to your body and there's no real flow. There's no real release of the follow through. And I think there's probably a closeness issue, maybe a little bit. So those are kind of the three main things, with a fourth thing that's smaller. Do you want to just reflect with me? Did that stand out? Have you been told that it's common?
As I think particularly with the closeness thing, I think it's just recently that I've kind of, because haven't been played for 1 week, because I've got this like a minor surgery at the back, just like to remove a pimple. But then I was just watching like a pro video of Shabini been playing against Goha in the final of the Egyptian Open. And I realized how she's always that I always got my hand across too close with my playing hand, that I find that sometimes it could restrict me to play my shot a bit. And so and that was quite interesting when you said about the closeness thing.
So I said it's one of the smaller things. It might be one of the bigger things possibly. But it's
still, yes.
Perfect. So with video on Zoom, if I played at full speed, it's quite glitchy. So I'll kind of go, sometimes it'll go a bit glitchy because we can move on with things. But when there's some key things, I'll point it out and we'll go from there. So let's just a few of these go. And then, okay, so little things here. Let me just go back, because it's quite nice. We can go frame by frame here, and the video quality is quite high. Let me just go back to here. It's kind of a tough serve. Got it a little bit behind you. And you just didn't quite move your base. Like you see your base there. It's all a bit big. It's a bit jumpy. And then, it kind of sprays out and you're in a little bit of trouble here. So here's where I'm thinking one of the first points, the tiny bit late on the racket activation. That's quite a decent split step. And I might show you some split step and use other videos for the comparison. Yeah, look at that. Okay, the wrist has gone up there eventually, but that's definitely too late. And you'll just see, I know it's only a micro bit, but you'll see there, just look at your racket head. Like, see there, it's still pointing at the ground. And I'm actually just going to show you this real quickly as a comparison. So let's use this as our guide. I often come back to this video. It's a very simple little video, but there's so much going on in this 30 seconds between these two guys. So let's watch Paul here. So Sal's going to hit a cross court over to Paul's backhand side. Look at Paul's racket head there. Can you see it appearing there already just above his kind of his elbow position there? The activation of that racket is incredibly quick. Like, look at that there. It's already kind of there, isn't it? It's like, and you'll see that multiple times, like that wrist engagement, it pops. And we'll go back to your video and you'll see like your first, it's only like some milliseconds, but actually the ball for you landed really close to you. And there's like this hitch at the end, I think gets in the way a little bit. So let's have a look how still he goes in there. And again, whatever, we think of Paul Cole, I think we can borrow some of the things from him because of that really early racket activation. It's really still. Let's watch Asal for a second. So he's got a neutral racket. The racket's relatively horizontal, so it doesn't need to be kind of pointing upwards when you're on the tee. This is quite a key thing. I don't actually like activation when people are on the tee. I actually think you can be quite neutral. Little quick side note, we're just going to take a look at a split step. I love this idea of dragging the back foot. Everything comes close, very tall. Your split step could do a little bit of work, and I'll talk about this in a second, but he's very tall, narrow base, leaning over. And as that hits, look at his there. Can you see that there? It's activating really quickly, isn't it? Not as quick as Paul, if I'm honest. It's a little bit slower. It comes a little bit up and around, but it really gets like there. Look at that wrist position. It's nice and early, nice and active. We'll just watch one more from Paul before we go back to yours. Look at the split step, as well as a little side note I always like to talk about. There's quite a significant step. The back foot drags. There's this closeness of the feet. The feet come close, tall, Nice neutral position here. Look at that there. Can you just see the racket appearing again there, just up and above
Oh,
his kind of just, it's such a quick, short movement. And this builds threat and options. Look at that. He's there now. He can move his feet, he can move his body, but there's a stillness to that racket head. And that for me just gives him so much threat, so many options. Like there,
yeah.
he could whip in a boast if he wanted to. He's not going to, he's just pushing it back down the line. But there's such a threat. Look at a cell there. Can you see what I mean? It's just such a,
Yeah, it's doing that. Yeah.
yeah, it's so attached to the split step. And I think when you can create
Oh,
part of this, and you might have a question in a second. Yeah, what's your thoughts? What are you hearing straight away so far?
yeah. I think I totally, yeah, get it. I find that on the forehand, I tend to do that quite a lot, just pointing the racket downwards.
Yeah, and you know it's going
'Cause,
to you split
yeah,
step well. You split step well, and then it's quite down. It does come up. I know
yeah,
maybe harsher, but you will see many other examples of it coming up. I think it's kind of one of the
yeah,
things that stood out to me quite early. Again, here's a bit of a strange shot selection. Going back to point number 2, simplifying the shot selection. Yeah, like there, he's hit
yeah.
across. It's not a
You
bad,
cross code. Yeah,
but it's just that needs to be locked down. That needs to be put in the channel. That needs to be against the sidewall. Let's hug that sidewall.
yeah,
I'm you said this is going to sound really simple, how, but
yeah,
I would say if you become a little bit more disciplined with hitting the channel, the straight lines, playing the channel game
yeah,
within,
yeah,
I think you'll start to really ask questions of those guys above you. I think, you look fit, you look active, you got some good mechanics in your game. And it's like, do you know what? I think the simplicity and the locking of the game down, I think could really, really help you, and it doesn't need to be boring that, but I think you could really do it. Like there, it's a bit of trouble. Someone slightly maybe better might put you, and even more pressure. Look, got a bit lucky, you just chucked in a boast. I'm glad
yeah.
you tried to lob, so that was the right shot selection to try to lob that. So let me fast forward this a little bit. So we go through just then getting the ball back on. Okay, cool. Right, so let's keep going. Yeah, I definitely want to straighten you. So look here, look at how, I don't know, like quite a weak shot from your opponent, and you go in there, and it's very casual. It's all very nice, right? And let's see what you do. Yeah, that's actually a great shot, by the way. I'm being a bit harsh on you there, but you timed that really well. But the bizarre thing is, let me just go back there. I really like part of this. What the execution was incredible, right? Like that's what was really good here. Try this. Sometimes it does this. I sometimes need to just shut the video down because it glitches. Like, give me 1 second. Sometimes when I've got like 3 or 4 things open, it does this. So 1 second. So yeah, let me just look back here. So your whole timing and your movements and the activation of that was brilliant. The only thing that I think didn't fill me with confidence was it didn't look like there was many other options available. I just,
Yes, yep,
yeah, it was like
yep,
that was, and so where is it again? Let's get it to up there, just a bit further back. Yeah. And then this is where the kind of threats and options, again, execution great, but yeah, just there probably wasn't much else on the cards there.
else you can do. Yeah,
Yeah. And he went to the right direction and he saw what was
yeah.
coming. It was just
We
the
know
quality.
it's coming. Yeah,
Yeah, the
yeah,
quality beat them rather than just like, and you don't have to hold every time. I'm not saying you have to destroy their movement, but there's something about threat and option that for me is such a big headline thing. Okay, so let's have a look at here. I'll probably stop. Yeah, you can see there. Look at I just want to watch that activation again. So arguably your split step, you might be a little bit wide, by the way. So your feet, look how wide your feet are compared to when you saw Sal and Cole. And I've got some other video of some of Rami and Shivagi. You might want to get that base a little bit shorter. And yeah, look at that there. There's a little weird inversion of your wrist here. You do this. Can I zoom in? Yeah, let me try this. So you do this. Hold on, let me press pause there. And it's a general thing. It's almost like, and hopefully you can see me here. Sun's coming in my eyes, but
yeah,
you almost like you turn your wrist inwards a little bit. There's this little kind of quirk where you do this. Can you see that there? It's
yeah.
just very subtle. And I just think, like for me, again, I have my racket to hand, but if I'm holding my pen there, it's like we want to get those fingernails, almost pointing forwards, like way, way earlier, like really in there like
Oh,
that. Whereas you tend to, you curl it. And I've seen it. I might point out a few others. But yeah, I think there could be something there with the activation of the wrist as well. It's almost like turning inwards to you rather than activating a little bit more there. Maybe a very small thing, but I might point out that in a second. I think it'll give you more threats and options. Again, let's look at your shot selection. Let me just go back for a second. So yeah, shot selection here, again, I think let's get really good at trying to lock down the straight. Like there, that should be straight all day long. Should be super simple, super obvious to go straight in that position.
Yep.
And then you go across, you get in a bit of trouble. And again, kind of low. You were under a little bit of pressure. And again, it was a good execution, but it didn't look like there was many other shots available. Just give me one second. Pop my curtains because there's the sun's really coming in low now.
Yeah. Early mornings.
I know. Can we believe it? Sun in the UK. Sure. We need to celebrate this. It's like degrees at the moment. It's gone freezing here in the UK. It's gone absolutely freezing
At the moment?
Yeah, it's like 4 degrees. Like there's like frost on and it's like still end of summer.
Still like in the summer, right? Yeah.
Nuts, isn't it? So anyway, let's kind of carry on and we'll talk about a few little things. Yeah, another cross court, eh? Lots of cross courts. Lots and lots of cross courts. So for me, point number 2, simplify the shot selection, lock down the channels. Let's get to lock those channels down a little bit more. Let's be, again, play the channel game within the game. There's something within that. So let's have a look here. Yeah. I might talk about the closeness in a second. Possibly just want to turn the body a little bit more there, about a 45-degree angle on the tee. So rather than facing kind of your chest facing the front wall, there's a little bit of a turn. Again, I can show you on some of the pro videos with this in a second. Yeah, look at that there. It's quite again, let's see this activation. So yeah, the ball is now, it's bounced, and look at your height of your racket there. Can you see the difference there?
Oh, that's so down. Yeah.
It's so down, isn't it? And again, I might kind of use another video in a second, but let's just go back to this one. So I'm going to be using this. I'm also going to maybe use this for some shot selection. So again, you can see here, just go back a few frames. So the ball's just about hit the front wall and already a cell is activating. That for me is the timing of the split step and the wrist activation. There's some real value in that. I think if you could practice this in a bit of ghosting without a ball, even just like as the foot hits the ground to push you off, there's a little twitch in the wrist. I quite like this association with the foot hitting the ground and the wrist moving. So let's have a look at Paul's.
So when you say the wrist activation, is that it's like from a neutral position that it goes clock, is it? Or
no, it's really, really simple. It's pretty much 45 degrees roughly. And it's just can the muscle just kind of just do this, or if it's on the backhand?
Oh, I see. Right. Yeah.
And you get the top of your racket pointing 45 degrees upwards. I think it is as simple as that. That's what I've seen a lot of these videos. Look at that ball there. Can you see that? It's already 45 degrees. He's seen it's gone on the backhand.
Oh.
I'm the split step. Look at how quickly it appears there. It's already there. It's crossed. Look, the one thing I need to make a note of on the forehand, it's more just like it can just go there because the shoulder's on the right side of the body. The backhand, almost 2 movements. It's not only this, but there's a very good, I'm just going to pull my screen down a second. There's a very good cross the body as well. Forearm needs to get across the body because you need this racket about 45 degrees above the left shoulder. And look how Paul's done that very well. He gets his racket about 45 degrees above his left shoulder very, very quickly, doesn't he? So that's quite a nice little tip, is in forehand is just wrist, backhand is wrist, and a little bit of a bit of a kind of a roll. Even something as I ask my players to put the fleshy part of their wrist almost on their left elbow, almost like somewhere like almost touching themselves here. Not to be too close because you don't want to be cramped, but finding a way where you can get that association. Again, the whole point about this, it gives you threat, it gives you options. It starts to go right. You still might play the same drop, the same drive, but your opponent has to just check themselves. They have to cover a few other options. That for me gets really, really interesting when we do that. And you can just see there. And then there's a big trigger movement. You're under a little bit of pressure, and that's a decent shot selection, not a good quality shot. And let's have a look here. again. Yeah, all a little bit late. Hey, look how late you took that. I know it caught the nick, but that was, and I know you said you might have some like sore knees in that, so maybe you didn't get down to that as much. But yeah, I think when you start to get more alert with the wrist, you're going to start to take balls earlier. You're going to apply pressure by getting onto balls earlier. And that's only a good thing. That's only good. So let's have a look here.
Yeah.
So let's just have a look at your split step. You don't quite, you looked at those pros, they, at that point, you should be on like coming up, like elevating. So you do a split step.
Oh, yeah.
Big
It's a bit
move.
late, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big jump, isn't it? And let me just show you this. I'm going to flick to a slightly different video. I quite like this because there's some good angles on this one. Let's have a look at this one here. Again, a tiny bit older video, but it's actually still really relevant. Okay, so let me just move that. So let's have a look at Rami here. Like he gets to there, he's watching. Look what he does now. Like he's really up, isn't he? He used to spring a lot. Here's a good one of Shibagi. This is the angle I'm looking for.
Yeah.
So as he's watching, watch his right foot. Look at how he pulls his heel up off the floor. He's activating into that position. The word I use here, levitation, is almost like a mini levitation before the split step happens. On your split step, I see you settle, and then it's like a jump and then a movement, rather than a levitation, and then you actually fall. You should fall into the split step.
Yep.
When I watch these players and go through it, watch how Rami here, watch how he levitates. Look at that there. Can you see the levitation?
Yep.
It's like like both heels come off the floor just at the right moment.
Yep.
The knees are soft. There's an angle to the knee there. The heels are off the floor. And that for me is your optimal position to get the best split step possible. I see that happen a lot. And it goes, let's see Shibagi here. Last one.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
What's this? So look at that. See, there's the elevation. He's become weightless for a tiny bit of the time. There's a little bit of weightlessness. And I think there's some real value in there. I know this wasn't something I was talk about initially, but I think there's a good tip within there. And again, just going back to your video, can you just see here that you try it, but it's part of your hop in a way. So I would say if you're watching your opponent, and again, have a look at this. Look how front on you are. It's actually really hard to see what's going on in the back left if you're purely facing the front wall. I don't know if you noticed there, both players were slightly angled. When the game was down the backhand, they weren't facing frontwards and looking over their shoulder. They were facing 45 degrees, still looking left, but there was a bit of a difference there. Whereas right now, there at that moment, you should be elevating. You should be weightless now. Just as the opponent is coming into hit, that's where the weightlessness should happen. Yours doesn't. And then it's a bit of a jump. And then you kind of you almost like land with both feet on the ground at the same time. And then you get a little bit stuck, don't you?
Yeah, because it's so late.
Wrist was better there, by the way. Yeah, here's that little interesting quirk. We turn it in. And can you see that there? Look at that. It's like a weird, like almost like you turn that to the seat. Yeah. It's not big deal, but again, like look at your elbow position as well. I think there's something about how close your elbow is to you, rather than, I love watching Garwad, Diego, with their elbow in particular. They really activate the elbow as well. When they want to, like, they first with the wrist, but when there's a little bit of time, that elbow, if you can see mine, floats up, doesn't it? Real
goes up, isn't it?
It goes up. Whereas yours goes there, it's kind of in. And it does it there, but look how late that is. Like why? Like it's being done at the very last second. Whereas could you get, so this image here is great. The elbow position there, the wrist engagement by 45 degrees. So if you can take like a mental snapshot, what I want you to do is, can you get this way earlier in your swing? Doesn't it need to be immediately after the guys hit it? But can you get it there earlier, stiller, and show the threat and option for longer? They can really, really start to damage your opponent there. Again, you don't have to complicate the shot, but I think from here, this makes quite a difference. So let me bounce it back to you before I continue. What are you hearing from this? What are you seeing? Ask me any questions if you got any questions at the moment.
No, I mean, the stuff that you said, I think I've heard so many people say the same thing to me as well about simplifying, playing it more straight. Like I just had a match last week as well, and I was playing a better opponent, and it was the same same thing that you said to me, like just play more straight, but I felt like it's not, I've always played cross court with someone below than me, so I could get away with it. But
Yeah.
with someone better, like I get punished all the time.
Yeah, yeah. And this is where
And,
just linking to the third bit about the mindset, right? So this is probably a good little quick conversation to have.
yeah,
It doesn't need to be long or drawn out, but when you start to practice mini visualizations, I'm talking like 30 seconds here, a minute in your pre-match
yeah,
warm up, see
yeah,
yourself playing those multiple rallies down the line, see the tempting cross court. I call it the instant gratification, the donut, right? It's the tempting thing. I want to eat the donut. I want to hit that cross court. It feels good. It gives me good satisfaction. No, like have your salad, hit it down the line, be basic, be simple. And when you start mentally mapping these responses in your mind before it happens, the brain starts to code itself. It starts to wire in a certain different way. And there's some good studies in neurology and science behind this, that when you start to see and map the way you want to play and you build your identity on that, even just what we're doing now, mentally mapping that elbow high in the wrist engagement, mentally mapping the split step. You don't need to find 10 minutes to go sit on a mountaintop and do this, right? Like we're all busy people. But can you start to integrate it into your life? I like to tell people if they're going to use visualization or start to think about their game, hey, when you go boil the kettle, rather than checking your phone, spend the 2 or 3 minutes thinking about it on your commute, or if you're walking into the club, rather than looking at your phone. Obviously the phone is the biggest distraction. There's probably multiple times in a day. You could probably find at least 5, 6, 7 times in a day where, hey, rather than like 2 minutes on phone or kind of Netflix or something, I'm doing an activity already. I can just associate visualization and my identity. This is a big thing about identity. Start to see yourself as that player that goes, yeah, I'm disciplined as hell. I'm locking the game down. I'm keeping it straight and simple. And I think if you can start to just gently start to run that in your mind, the brain starts to, like any muscle, it becomes stronger with time and practice. Does that make sense? How that whole
yeah.
idea?
It does. Yeah,
Not
100%.
important,
Yeah.
but I think it's something that you can do. Do you, out of interest, do you mentally warm up? Like, I know you probably physically warm up. Do you do anything mentally before your matches?
I sometimes think about what I needed to do, but I probably didn't think about it literally in mind. I think I would like try to jot down some notes
Yeah, I
and
think,
stuff. And
yeah, identity
I,
is probably your first starting point. Like this is
yeah,
me. This is this is how we work it out. I'm not going to go too deep because I want to talk about a couple of other things. But the statement and the sentence I get my players to do is, I believe dot dot dot, and this is what opponents fear the most about me. So your top line, there's actually 3 lines, but your top line is something that is ideally a strength, or a strength you have, or something you like. So for your example here, maybe we'll manipulate it slightly. I believe that when I lock the game down in the channels, this is what opponents fear the most about me. That might not be 100% true right now. What do you think your super strength is? What do you think the thing that people fear about you? Maybe people of your level or just below, maybe not the people above yet. What do you think it is? It might not be what I've just said, but can you tell me?
I just know that I play well. I mean, I guess when I say I play well, it's like the feeling that I get when I play, that I know I played my best, is when I can add that bit of deception.
Okay, great.
Um, when I felt really in control in in the court. It's like moving people around, and
Hmm.
but people keep on saying to me that I have a really solid backcourt game.
Okay.
Um, so, but then I don't. But then the games that I've been losing is like the ones that I've always just tried to hit a length and not try to be creative as well. So that's why it's yeah,
Yeah, so I definitely wouldn't
but
become passive with what you're doing.
yeah,
Playing a league game,
yeah,
playing a panel game, it's quite proactive.
yeah,
It's going, yeah, there's a reason I am burying you deep and straight and tight, so I can get
yeah,
on the volley and I can play a straight volley drop and move you around. I'm not going to
yeah,
try be too fancy and flick cross courts that are getting to me quick or behind me. And it's about less manipulating the game when it's not on your terms. It's about solidifying the game, I believe, getting it solid, straight, deep, simple, and that will actually give you more opportunity to be deceptive and creative and try different things.
yeah,
So this is part of, I think, your mental mapping, and part of that third thing I
right,
said about sort of mindset. You know, run the movie in your mind, play it 30 seconds, a minute. Yeah, you see it. You might even just repeat 1 or 2 simple shots. you see yourself hitting it straight. You see it there. You see the ball coming out as a cross court, and you get on that backhand volley drop, and you just play a simple straight volley drop. And little bits like that. That's a mental warm up. Doesn't need to be long or complicated or convoluted. But you just go, this is my identity. I believe the one I'm saying for you, but
Yeah.
you can slightly change. I believe that when I play that straight lockdown channel game, that's what opponents fear the most about me. It's like this, it's simple, it's clear, you hold yourself accountable. And again, that's not a boring thing. It's not just a passive thing, but it's a directive, isn't it? It's an accountability
Yeah.
to that thing.
Yeah.
Cool. Cool. So wait, there's a
Like, yeah.
little stuff to try. Yeah, cool. Cool. Should we carry on with the video for now?
Yep. Yep.
There's any other little things? Yeah, there's that cross court again. And, for me, that's super obvious that should be a straight because it's come a little bit loose. You got a nice position there. That should be just hammered down the line. And you got what you deserved on that one.
Sorry, cross court.
Yeah, exactly. Cross court, simple there. So yeah, your ratio is what? I think 70% across to straights at the
Cross
moment.
court.
Yeah, that's a decent straight. So let's see. Yeah, good. I saw that one. That was good. It was kind of obvious one, but you took your space, bang, straight down the line. Okay, so let's keep looking. So yeah, I think those are the main things I've covered. Here's the closeness on the serve, by the way. And you do. So there's okay there. Yeah, that ball is crazy close and really low, by the way. Really, really low. I see a lot
Oh,
of
yeah.
guys when they serve. It's about there. That's the
Quite
contact.
high.
Yeah, there. And actually,
Oh, yeah.
that it's like, and again, is the serve a bit too big and is a bit complex? Is it just a little bit more throw and hit? So, and without rushing it, but it's, I think, but think about your trajectory from there, the angle from there. That's not an easy angle to get a good serve. If you think about it,
Yeah.
it's kind of low. It's in the middle of the court and you're trying to get it up high on the volley. Look how low it then hits. I know I'm just picking one serve, and it probably ends up quite good, this one. Yeah, that's not a bad serve, but geez, I think it could be a lot
It's not
easier.
consistent. Yep.
So let's have a look here. Yeah, there's this little wrist turn as well. Let's have a look here. So you get the racket up quite nice. It comes to you quick. Yeah,
Yeah,
interesting.
so risky.
Yeah, it's a little, and again, it's like this little elbow, it's less, the wingspan doesn't look as good. I'm just going to change my angle here a little bit more so I get out the sun. So that angle, like I'd like to see that there rather than,
Yep.
the elbow's pointing quite low, isn't it? It's kind of like there
Yep.
rather than just up there and activate. And I think
Yep.
you get it. And that's nice, decent, but it just didn't look as convincing.
Yep.
And maybe it could.
So the elbow needs to go up like that, isn't it? Or,
Yeah, I think the elbow should clear a little bit from, and again, like look here, it's quite interesting. This is the little quirk I'm seeing. Look how you turn it in. It's kind of like this almost this, I think coming from elbow and wrist, it's like there's an inwards thing. I talk a lot about wingspan with players. I say, right, just if you can increase that wingspan, increase the space between your elbow and your rib cage. It doesn't need to be here. That's a bit extreme.
oh, okay. That makes,
Yeah, it's like I almost kind of say, get your chicken wing out. It's like a little chicken wing. It's like, I know it's a weird thing to say, but you get what I'm saying there. There's this, whereas, you get it there, but it's kind of, it's all quite loopy and it's a little bit late. And I think there's some threat and options you can build on there. That's good surf. Right. Let's have a little look here. And if there's, obviously we've got about 10 minutes left. So if there's questions you have to ask me, please ask me. I know I'm getting into what I would like to talk about, but if there's anything that you want to ask, let me know. Here's that serve again. I know we kind of talked about this, but firstly, the ball toss is way too close. You're kind of like you're throwing it, almost on your nose. It's like almost on your elbow there. And then it's like that's hard.
It goes down.
That's hard. That's a hard work to kind of get, you do pretty good considering. Okay. Reactivation was slightly better there. Interesting turn of the wrist here. So look at this. Look at the angle. Look at where your strings are facing. So your strings are facing the side wall, aren't they? At that point, that's my side wall. Whereas that wrist, at this point here, I should be seeing more of the back of your racket. I'm seeing the side of your racket from that camera angle rather than the kind of the back side of the string. In simple terms, you've closed your racket face too much there. The racket face is closed. Can you see your wrist, kind of your knuckles go towards the side wall? You do that a little bit. Yeah. And we want to try get the knuckles a little bit more looking at the front, and again, yeah, that's
Also the
maybe
front wall, right?
slightly
Yeah.
to the right. So if I'm lining up on my backhand, it's kind of like they kind of down there a little bit more, that angle. Does that make sense? It's like it would be
Yeah.
there. You see, again, I don't think I've got it on one of those guys. I think actually I might give me 1 second. Just go back to the Call SL one. Back a few frames. I think there was something here. Yeah, I suppose Cole does it here a little bit. So look there. Can you see Cole? Look, I can see before he swings. Can you see the whole racket face is looking at me? You can't see his knuckles there. And then he'll obviously swing and it changes the shape in the swing, which is fine. Let's see here. I think this might be it.
Oh, I see that. Yeah.
And then it obviously changes as part of the swing. There, that's quite nice. Look at how the knuckles are kind of like looking down a little bit, and he's really turned here. So you're seeing the side of the racket. So this is not the example I'm looking for. But look there, like he's under pressure. And the only time you see the edge of the racket is in part of the swing. Yours gets there a little bit too early. You're holding it there a bit too early. This is quite nice as a little side note. Look at the elbow position here.
Oh,
Look
yeah,
how
you're right.
quickly
Yeah.
he clears the elbow. Look at that.
Yeah.
Elbow's
Those are
not,
very high already. Yeah.
yeah. A little silly thing I kind of tell the players as well when I'm on. It's like almost like you're in the packed tube and
It's a wing.
you need
Yeah.
some space. You need to elbow someone out the way. It's like, give me some space, man. It's like, it's like
Oh,
you're
yep.
taking up that space. Kind of again, a silly
Yeah.
analogy. They kind of maybe
Yeah.
make
Yeah.
sense. I just want to see if it goes on the backhand again here. Here we go. Maybe this. See, I quite like that. I know we're seeing the side of the racket, but look at how there's a real nice tilt over, isn't there? It really tilts over. The knuckles aren't looking at the side wall. And I just want to see here. I want to just see if there's one more backhand. It's not quite the one because it's going through to the back. Yeah, I think this is the one here. Perfect. That's kind of the one I'm looking for. There's like a nice turn towards the front wall. The knuckles are looking kind of down at the ground, but also towards the front wall a little bit.
Yeah.
And just back to yours, this is where I think the threats and options for you get a little bit limited. So is it gone? Let me go back to here. Yeah, can you see that there? It's all like
Going to
facing
the side wall. Yeah.
rather than kind of more over the top in that way. And again, it just gives you way more threats and options. And again, two things, yeah. You definitely taking the ball a little bit too late, I think. Look at how the ball's dropping almost on the second bounce. You can go get the ball there or even there. Go take it on the rise. You definitely don't want to be letting that ball droop too much. I think you definitely let the ball deflate. It helps a little bit with some disguise, but it doesn't rush your opponents. Maybe start to think about getting your opponent under more pressure. Yeah, a bit of a risky one there. And I know you're going for that shot, but yeah, that's a lot of wrist movement, a lot of flick. I think you might do okay. It just sits up a little bit.
So
Yeah,
badminton skills.
yeah. Again, shot selection. And for 1 second, I'm not saying don't play those shots, but do it after you've had your salad, as in like do the basics well, do that a little bit later on. Yeah, look at your elbow here as well. It's quite interesting, eh? You've kind of gone on this like quite close.
Really close to the, yeah.
And then the elbow, I think, comes up. Yeah, but it's super late. There's no real threat and options. Nice boast, but I think you want to have a drive there at the same time as a boast. So show both shots. 2 shots in your locker at this point. Again, I think we know what's going to happen on the serve here. A little bit close. That was very close on that one. Let's have a look if there's something here. Okay, that's fine. I think it just jumped out. Let's see if we can pick up any more little bits. Yeah, by the end, this guy looked very disinterested. It looked like you've broken him a bit mentally, which is good as well. Yeah, I think you can see the serve there. Again, maybe the split step, like I said, angle yourself a little bit more side on. Yeah, let's have a look what happens here. Yeah, look at that low. Look how close your elbow is, eh? So I think it's 2 things. Like I slightly, the more I've done this, I've seen you a little bit more. It's not just the activation of the wrist. I think it's the activation of the elbow. Get your
Of the elbow.
Yeah, get kind of
Early.
one out the way. Yeah, kind of, because look how close it is to you here. Because your wrist is okay there. Your wrist is actually activated, but there's no real elbow. Look at that. It's really close. It's quite defensive. There's no threat. It's all nice, but nice is nice, isn't it? Nice only gets you so far.
Yep.
And it's good. You've held and put a little boast in, but yeah, don't think there's, yeah, there you want to be able to punch that down the line, play a straight kill and play the boast, have these options in your bag. So even there, just go, I know you probably heated it up, but it's like I would approach the front really locked in, really engaged on that position.
Ready.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, he's definitely losing a bit of interest. So let's watch a couple more and then just do a recap, or you might have some questions for me on this as well. Definitely want to get some more space on that serve. Not bad. The split.
Yeah.
Look at how the elbow is still really close to the body, right up there, isn't it?
Yep.
Love to see some threat. And again, I know you try to be a little bit tricky in disguising it. And it does. Hey, yeah, lots of short, flicky little cross courts there. Yeah, you could have made your life 1,000%
Easier.
way easier by locking it down, hitting it straight. Cool. Let's see. This is maybe the last rally. You won this match, right?
No, you want it.
Oh, you won it. Wow, you look very uninterested. I thought.
Yes.
Yeah,
The thing is, it's the third game or something that he got tired and then.
but retired. Yeah, nice. That was a nice final shot. Okay, so listen, we've covered a lot of ground there. Let me just go back to the start, and then if you got questions for me, the three things: tiny bit late with the racket preparation and activation, both threats and options. I think we've discussed the elbow is also part of this now as well.
Yeah.
Number two, you've heard this, but simplify the shot selection, lock down the channel. Have the tricky side of your game, but off the back of simplicity, frustrate your opponent, give them nothing. And that links probably to the third thing about your identity, your mindset, a mental warm-up, some mini visualizations, see yourself technically trying these things, like you look more active in the backhand and the forehand, but actually strategy and tactics wise, become known, become feared for. It's hard. Well, I don't like playing this guy. It's like, there's nothing, but then when it's loose, he then starts to mix it up a little bit, and I think if you can start to mentally map, that'll be really good. And then the final thing, which is a small thing, but obviously a big-ish thing, is that spacing to the ball, especially on the serve, and, just making sure there's more up here and there's more, just more space on that serve.
Yep.
Thoughts from you now? Reflections, comments, questions, anything on your mind based on what we've spoken about today?
No, I think you pointed out the kind of my concerns as well, like especially on the forehand side. Like you think that because of the elbow thing that I find it hard to straight it up as well? Like it's
I think there's a temptation from there that you gotta just get it across too much.
Or score all this, right? Yeah. So I think I've always known that it's always like a weakness of mine that I couldn't, that especially when the ball gets really close to me, that I just don't know how to, when I find like a person might be like close to me as well, that I don't know how to the ball was loose, but I couldn't I always hit it like higher or something rather than trying to hit it down because I don't have that power or something. Yeah, from the elbow, I guess. Yeah,
aggression of it as well. It's like a little bit aggressive. It's like it's there. And look, early. Look, the problems I see happen at amateur level when people get hit or they get close to each other is when their swing starts with nothing and then they do a big kind of hitch at the end. Whereas you look at Sal in that video, he got his elbow.
They do it early, isn't it?
Joe, this is my space. Like don't get in my space. This is I'm doing, like, this is me. You don't have to do it exaggerating, but take your space. Like if it goes on the forehand, get the elbow up. Goes on the backhand, it comes across when you get a bit more time. You can actually take up a nice bit more space around you by early activation of the racket, showing the threat, showing the options. And that's why it's also a threat, because it takes up good space, doesn't it? You show the threat. You go, it's my turn to hit the ball. Get with the program. This is what I'm doing. You're going to have to learn to adapt around this. So I think there's a little bit of psychology in there about controlled aggression in a way. Like, I'm doing this. I'm taking assertiveness of the game, and I'm doing my damnedest to do this.
Yeah.
Good. Was that useful today?
Yeah, very useful. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad. Thank you for signing up. You'll have the recording, so you can go back and watch it. It might take watch it a few times. There's probably a few little subtle messages in there that might just not have gone in right now. And tend to find when people watch these back, in the course of a few weeks or a couple of months or so, they really get something out of it as well.
Yep. Same.
Perfect.
Yep.
So awesome.
Thank you so much. Cheers.
Well,
Yeah.
you know where I'm at. If you want any more of these, let me know, type of thing. And
Yep.
yeah, there's a bunch of squash that I'd love to talk about. But thank you very much,
Yep.
Hao, and really appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Jesse. Yep.
Take care, mate. Thank you.
Have a good weekend. Yeah. Cheers. Bye.
Cheers, mate. Bye.
Bye.